Hey guys, Sebastian here from Walgrace Vintage. Welcome to your gallery. In today's video, we'll be showing you some of our favorite picks out of the huge batch of new gear that recently arrived at our door. I'm talking about a ton of Fender custom shops and custom Turoks. These are a small portion of all the gear that we have available, so if you want to see all the other things we have, check out our links down below, which will lead you to our website, walgracevintage.com. With that said, let's talk about some of the picks that we have gotten for this video. So what I got in my hands, it's a really nice Tele custom shop. This is a custom model that comes in this aged frosted charcoal metallic. This guitar is just a stunner. First of all, I love the whole stealthy vibe with the black guard, dark metallic color. The aging on it is done really, really well. One of my favorite things about it is this neck, which is, yes, you can see it's a flame maple neck that has this roasted treatment that makes it look almost like chocolate. And on top of that, it plays really, really well. You have a rosewood fretboard here with big frets, and this neck has a 60s C oval shape that plays and feels really, really good. The pickups here, as you can see, is an HS configuration. The humbucker, it's a Josefina hand-wound humbucker from the custom shop. These are designed by Paul Waller, and basically, I hear that it's a pickup that basically tries to level out the differences in tone between single coils and humbuckers. And I can definitely notice a difference in gain. It's definitely a lot louder than the bridge pickup, but it's kind of like matched in a way. It's still bright and snappy, and it's a really cool combination. When you go to the bridge though, what you have here is a hand-wound Texas special, also from the custom shop. I find that this pickup combination is just really, really cool in the way it works. It's not your usual Telecaster. So if you want something different, definitely check this out. And then the aging is done really, really well. It's so nice. I love how the Fender Custom Shop does their relics. And this kind of like lighter relics are some of my favorites. You also have vintage style tuners, a bow nut, as well as a vintage style bridge with compensated saddles. So your intonation will be perfect. So yeah, this guitar is fantastic, and it pairs up beautifully with the amp that we'll be talking about next, which is this Turok Classic Reverb Signature. This amp is quickly growing as one of the most popular amps here in our gallery. Everybody loves it. And if you haven't heard about Turok before, they're a boutique company based in California, and they build all the amps by hand. They're all hand wire, and they're top-notch stuff. You have seen this probably all over the internet in the hands of players like Scott McKeon, Dole Gramhill Jr. II, Joey Landreth, Joe Bonamassa, Eric Johnson, just to name a few. This one comes spec'd out in this gorgeous burgundy suede with this black grill cloth here that has this sparkly texture that looks really, really cool. So yeah, this is one of the amps that we have gotten with this big Turok collection. We also have vintage deluxes, burn size, traditional cleans, other classic reverbs, the whole 9 yards. So again, if you guys want to check out what we have available, the links are down below in the description. This happened to be one of my favorites, and I thought that it would pair amazing with this guitar. So let's talk about some of the specs of this amp. I feel like this has to be one of the most versatile amps that Turok makes. The classic reverb really is a jack of all trade, and it does everything so well. So it's a clean machine to start off. It's a one-channel amplifier that you can tweak to basically make it either be a roaring, gainy monster or like the most clean, high-end type of amp. The way it works is when you go into the input, the first thing your guitar sees is an FET gain boost that is designed to work in conjunction with the circuit so that it respects the voice of your guitar. So it's a very transparent boost basically. And it can also buffer your signal, if you're running different pickups or whatnot. It's a really good way of leveling out whatever is coming into the amp. After that, you have a 3-band EQ with your 3-way switches here, bright, mid, and deep. You also have a gain control that allows you again to get a slight saturation out of the amp if you dime it, and with the boost a lot more, but for the most part this amp likes to stay pretty clean if you run the gain low. Then you have an EQ1 and EQ2. Think of this as the classic jazz and rock settings that you might find in a Dumble. The EQ1 has a bit more low end, EQ2 feels a bit more gainy, a little bit tighter. Then you have your master, which, this head comes at 100 watts, and then you can switch it down to 50. They also have other models that go down from 40 to 20, but this is the 100 watt version, so it can get pretty loud. You also have this really cool 3-gain structure settings that is one of my favorite things about this amp. It really allows you to change the voice and the way it responds. So in the top setting, Basically, the preamp becomes now kind of like a 2-rock or the classic 2-rock setting, which to my ears has a bit more high end, has very little compression, and it's just very open. I feel like I like that setting best for cleans. When you go to the middle, this is the Matt Schofield input, which is a hotter input that has a bit more low end, more gain. If you like to play with distortion, I would definitely recommend to use that input. Then the one at the bottom, it's kind of like the Fender blackface panel sound, which has the least amount of gain, has more of a smiley EQ, and a bit more compression. So kind of like a classic sound. So, by now you can already imagine how versatile this amp is and how many different sounds it can really do. Then you have a center return for your reverb, as well as a bypass switch that bypasses the tone stack and gives you a slight boost in volume, or depending on how you have your settings, it kind of like gets rid of all the EQ. And then you have a contour knob, which is a really good way of just changing your EQ on the go if you're, trading between guitars, if you're going from humbuckers to single coils. With that, you can kind of like EQ the low end and high end simultaneously. So yeah, this amp sounds amazing. I think that its biggest quality is how touch responsive it is and how big it sounds. It almost like becomes an extension of you as a player. I feel like when you're playing with one of these amps loud and you have the gain going and you have like this crunchy sound, it's one of the best tones I have ever heard. And I feel like, again, as a guitar player, it makes you work slightly harder because everything comes through. The amount of nuance that you can really get out of this amp is just insane. I love it. It's loud, it's mean, it's cool, it looks amazing, and there's nothing to hate about it. So before we jump into some playing, I just want to again reiterate that we'll be showing you guys some of those other guitars in future videos, but if you want to check them out, they're all currently live in our website, guitars and amps as well. So links down below in the description. With that said, let's jump to some playing. Here's how the 2-rock sounds on the 2-rock setting with the FET gain disengaged. So what you heard is the middle position. Let's hear the neck now. Again, very responsive. Very nice, beautiful, clean, lush sound with a tiny bit of hair. If you dig in, you can hear some of that drive. But yeah, it's a beautiful sounding amp. Now let's hear it on the Matt Schofield setting, which has, again, a bit more hair. You're gonna notice that if I dig in, a little bit louder, you get a bit more hair. If you turn on the FET boost, you're gonna notice it's pretty high right now. We're gonna get a lot more gain, compression, and volume as well. It's getting pretty loud in here. It's really nice. I mean, again, very gainy. It's a different type of gain. It feels kind of like a Fender on steroids, which I guess is what a lot of people would call kind of like the Dumble S type of sound. So yeah, this amp kind of like is inspired after that whole school of modified Fenders that give you that huge big sound. It's something very unique. Now let's move on to the bottom blackface setting. So yeah, it has a lot less mids, a bit more compressed. It's more of a vintage feel, and it just goes to show you how versatile this amp is and how many different sounds you can get. We're not gonna go deep about some of the other features that it has, like the bypass and stuff like that. We have done that already in another video that you can watch up here. But yeah, if you guys are interested in this gear, there's definitely so much to learn about them. And this is only a portion of what we have gotten. We have many other Two-Rocks as well as many other Fender custom shop guitars. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. With that said, we're gonna wrap it up here. Check out the links down below so you can see some of the other things that we have in our website besides guitars. We also have cars, coffee, watches, and a lot more. And yeah, if you guys want to support this channel, you can give us a thumbs up and consider subscribing. And then if you guys want to watch more content like this, you can follow us on Instagram at @WaltGraceVintage. My name is Sebastian. Until next time.